Thank you for your support and companionship over. If you enjoy our content and are able to, we would truly appreciate a small tip or even just a cup of coffee through GiveSendGo and PayPal links below. May God bless us all. Nick Fleming RVGCR Intel Update. Tishwash, DNT, article, Parliament announces it will receive the government program from Al-Zaidi by the end of this week. Quote, Parliament Speaker Hebat al-Halbasi confirmed on Monday, May 4, 2026, that the Parliament will receive the government program from Ali al-Zaidi, who is tasked with forming the new government, by the end of this week, while he indicated that the names of the ministerial cabinet will be put to a vote next week. Reset Intelligence. The Gazette is Iraq's mandatory channel for legal force. Laws, regulations and presidential decrees take effect on the date they are published, not before. Until a rate change appears in the Gazette, it is not law. Iran's president called Iraq's PM-designate and asked Baghdad to referee the meeting. Iran called Baghdad because Tehran can't reach Washington direct. The day Iran sanctions lift is the day the dinar repricing window opens. The deal that gets written this month decides whether IQD finally moves off 1,310. Jeff, historically Iraq has always been slightly above Kuwait. Today Kuwait's about $3.25. What brought the value of the currency down was sanctions. What happens when you take those sanctions off? If it reinstates, wouldn't it put it around the $3.22, which is where it devalued in 2003? Iraq's budget is waiting for the new government to be formed because it's waiting for the rate to change. That's where we're at in this right now. The cabinet map is the story today. A preliminary cabinet allocation map leaked to Shafak News shows. U.S. designated TT Qais al-Khazali is slated to receive the Labor Ministry, the Industry Ministry, and a Deputy Prime Minister position. Washington explicitly demanded al-Zaidi exclude militia-linked figures from cabinet and senior posts before resuming dollar shipments. If this allocation holds, it puts al-Zaidi on a direct collision course with Washington before Parliament even votes. If Khazali's Sadiqoon bloc gets a deputy PM slot in two ministries, Washington's no militiamen in cabinet red line is crossed, and dollar shipments stay frozen. Al-Zaidi has 72 hours to finalize his list. Question: what are the next major steps you are waiting for? The conditions that would theoretically support a significant dinar appreciation, diversified revenue streams, a stable and transparent banking sector, full dollar access, low inflation, strong foreign reserves, and a resolution of the militia problem. Frank 26, KTFA. The Gazette said some things I think they should not have said. IMSO, you know how we say we're close. No, we're there. We're not walking down the ladder of the lunar module. We're bouncing up and down on the moon. Franul, the CBI's official rate remaining around 1,320 IQD per USD, with budget guidance around 1,300. The IMF says Iraq's exchange rate arrangement is a conventional peg, and that the Central Bank of Iraq has authority over exchange rate policy. A bank rate sheet also shows $1 at 1,300 IQD and references 1,320 in the system, which is consistent with a managed official framework. Sandy Ingram, the Iraqi dinar is tightly controlled and set and managed by the Central Bank of Iraq, not by open forces like the Forex market. This is called a managed or pegged exchange rate. The CBI decides when or if the rate changes. Even during conflict, the rate can remain and has remained the same. Stephen, Dinar for Dummies. With all the news coming out, it is an exciting time to be invested in the Iraqi dinar. That is for certain. Mountain Goat, all these projects we read about from the El Sudani administration are still in progress and will deliver the benefit we all desire, but just not yet. We also have to cancel the Iranian influence in Iraq, and we can now see this too is in the making. I believe we are closer than ever for the dinar to get reinstated. But first things first. By now everyone should be fully aware of these events that cause delays in the currency reform process. This video is reposted from the website, MalayDailyBlog.com. Thank you for your support and companionship over the years. Judy note, Trump's White Hat military forces had seized full operational command of the global financial system, and released trillions across 209 now sovereign nations, with funds flowing into redemption accounts and sovereign treasuries right now. The Federal Reserve, along with central banks across the globe, have been stripped of power. No more money manipulation, usury, hidden taxation and globalist control that has funded endless wars and bureaucratic empires. America's 250th anniversary on July 4, 2026 would mark a public unveiling of activation of GCR/GCR laws that were dismantling the old debt system, canceling illegitimate debt, abolishing income tax on wages, and returning seized wealth worldwide. Most of the underlying reasons for all these problems now being solved hid in child sex trafficking and satanic ritual abuse, formally brought into the U.S. after World War II with the Nazi satanic ritually abuse-based CIA mind control of children program. On Wednesday, May 13, 2026, 76 years after the CIA MKUltra mind control program involving torture and murder of children began, congressional hearings on MKUltra mind control were scheduled to begin. The Congressional Task Force on Declassification of Federal Secrets, a sub-panel of the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee, was holding the inquiry. In 1953 the CIA imported Nazi mind control experts from Hitler's Germany for the purpose of developing assassins and super spies for the CIA. When the CIA began their tortuous mind control experiments using unsuspecting humans as guinea pigs, what never came out was the great majority of those humans were kidnapped children, or those sold into the program by their satanic-worshipping parents. Adult survivors of the program said the CIA-funded experiments involved an international child sex kidnapping and exploitation network run by the Vatican. The experiments were not just a few random studies. The CIA program, eventually known as MKUltra, consisted of 149 sub-projects, plus another 33 closely related programs. There were 80 participating U.S. and Canadian institutions including 44 colleges and universities. All were, and it is suspected were presently, funded by U.S. taxpayers through a CIA black budget. 11 years later in 1964 CIA Director Richard Helms claimed he shut down the program. Survivor respondents to the 2007 Extreme Abuse Survey disagreed. There were 257 who said secret government-sponsored mind control experiments were performed on them. Many were born after 1964. What happened in 1964 was a successful lawsuit by mind control survivor Linda McDonald which influenced congressional inquiries to supposedly end MKUltra. Though, the torture of children was known to continue but curtailed in 1967 and thought extinct by 1973 after MKUltra documents were destroyed by CIA Director Richard Helms prior to his resignation and another congressional inquiry. The 1977 Freedom of Information Act was able to uncover 20,000 MKUltra financial documents. Congresswoman Anna Luna, RFL, claimed their message for the 2026 inquiry was that MKUltra never ended, that 300,000 U.S. civilians were being tortured and attacked today under an unacknowledged Special Access Program, USAP, codename Ultra. The purpose of CIA mind control programming was to secure lifelong power over an individual, creating super spies, terrorists and assassins. As found by research of Nazi mind control experts brought into the US and Canada by what was to become the CIA after World War II, multiple personalities controlled by the perpetrator were most easily created in the developing brain of a child subjected to prolonged trauma. Back in 1972 NYPD Detective James Rothstein arrested one of the 5 Watergate burglars, CIA operative Frank Sturgis. During a 2-hour interrogation he discovered that the burglars weren't trying to obtain election strategies as the mainstream media proposed, but were looking for a book which listed Democrat and Republican politicians who accessed child prostitutes, their sexual proclivities and the amounts they paid to rape kids. Rothstein maintained that the Watergate break-in was strictly based on one thing, the pedophile records that were being kept at the Democratic National Headquarters. It was well known in Washington that pictures, videos and recordings of prolific pedophile parties were used to blackmail politicians. Even back in Watergate days the children were believed obtained through an international child trafficking ring run by CIA/Vatican/Khazarian mafia connections. Funding was obtained through the CIA black budget MKUltra mind control program. I'm a survivor of tax-funded torture, enslavement, human trafficking and mind control, including sexual abuse, said a woman from California in a 2013 petition, request for a congressional investigation, CIA mind control of children. 2 additional members of my immediate family are in recovery for these crimes including one who is still a minor. These programs must be stopped, corruption routed out of our government and nation, and the truth be revealed. Evidently the CIA and other government programs were still torturing children. We may never know where the CIA's $14.7 billion per year black budget was spent. Survivors of the government mind control techniques say they don't remember this extreme childhood abuse until many years after the event, making a quest for justice difficult. Back on November 2013, CBS faced the nation-respected Watergate scandal. Journalist Bob Woodward claimed, "You run into this rat's nest of concealment, by the FBI and CIA, then and now. I am a survivor with 2 terminal diagnoses that are a direct result from torture, electric shock, a receiver encased in my right sphenoid bone causing brain cells to die every day, and drug experiments," said another victim in the petition that requests an investigation of the U.S. CIA's mind control program. "My country owes me truth and compensation." In the 1995 congressional hearings on radiation experiments, witnesses Krista Nicola, Valerie Wolf, and Claudia Mullen also had issues with the claim that the government wasn't involved in tortuous experiments on children. DeNicola and Mullen survived a childhood of torture by U.S. government employees, and Wolf treated them, plus other mind control survivors. DeNicola testified she was abused by head of the CIA human experiments Dr. Green through 1984 to 20 years after the program supposedly closed. DeNicola named CIA Director Richard Helms as one of her perpetrators. Back in 1977, a pending congressional inquiry prompted Helms to destroy all MKUltra documents prior to his resignation. Even though Wolf, DeNicola and Mullen pled for another congressional investigation of the CIA program, none was done, no charges were brought against anyone including Helms, and Congress voted not to release results of their inquiry. Survivors of childhood mind control also talk of international child trafficking connected to the global elite. Of 1,471 survivors who responded to the 2007 extreme abuse surveys, 451 said at least one group that abused them were national or international in scope, and 177 claimed they had been transported out of their native country for the purposes of ritual abuse mind control. There were 500 who said yes when asked if they were made to participate in child prostitution, and 578 claimed they were involved in child pornography. Survivors of mind control commenting in the request for a congressional investigation, CIA mind control of children were found in the US, Canada, France, Australia, Asia, Germany and the Netherlands. CIA mind control survivor Christine Nicola testified before the 1995 President's Advisory Committee on CIA Human Radiation Experiments, claiming she was subjected to human experiments from age 4 through age 14, or until 1976. Victim C, who testified in the same hearing, said she was in the experiments from age 7 through age 24, or until 1984, 20 years after the supposed closure of MKUltra. Videos of their congressional testimonies have been scrubbed from the internet. In the 2007 extreme abuse studies, 147 mind control victims stated yes when asked if they were currently being accessed and abused by ritual abuse mind control perpetrators against their will. In Australia, Fiona Barnett also claimed to be a victim of CIA Nazi mind control programming that included human hunting parties where children were raped, hunted down and killed. As a young child, the subject of my book 22 Faces, Jenny Hill, underwent severe abuse from 1959 to when she viewed a child sacrifice overseen by Dr. Green in 1965. Colin A. Ross, MD, stated in the biography's foreword, according to many patients with similar memories, Green is a German mind control specialist who came to the U.S. after World War II. In the 1990s, therapists were accused of implanting false memories of ritual abuse, including recollections of Dr. Green and his alpha, beta, delta, gamma and omega mind control programming. Dr. Green was also described by CIA mind control survivor Christine Nicola in her testimony before the 1995 congressional hearings on CIA human experiments. In a 2007 extreme abuse survey, 234 ritual abuse survivors stated that they remember being used in government-sponsored mind control experiments in the U.S., while 83 said they remember being used in government-sponsored mind control experiments in Canada. In reviewing ages of the over 1,471 severe abuse study participants, over half were born after 1964 when MKUltra was supposedly no longer functioning, and many were abused after 1973 when Helms resigned and destroyed MKUltra documents. Even after 2 congressional hearings with ritual abuse survivors testifying of their childhood horrors of CIA mind control, it was highly suspicious that the CIA was still using U.S. taxpayer dollars to continue their kidnap, rape and torture children. Since the 1970s inquiries, Congress has not acted on crimes of the CIA, nor even opened an investigation on the now deceased head of the program, Dr. Green. We know it was still going on because General Derek O'Malley was listed as controlling funding for the program. Now 76 years after the unspeakable CIA mind control torture, rape and murder of children program began, Congressional Chairwoman Anna Paulina Luna has finally announced another congressional inquiry. I wonder how many children have been tortured, raped and killed by the CIA experimentation since 1953. What we thought we knew, but didn't really know and now am supposed to know but don't have a clue. With clones, doubles, made-up movies Hollywood style and Trump's military alliance throwing more popcorn at us, it gets so confusing. Area 51 just lit up. Right after talk of UFO file releases, 17 earthquakes occurred in less than 24 hours in areas surrounding Area 51 in Nevada, from Utah to California's Pacific Ocean. Was it natural activity, or activity underground? 2s. May 5, 2026. On alien disclosure to the citizens of the USA and surrounding continents, what you are about to learn will not only shock you, but will change your entire life as you know it forever. Please do not panic. U.S. Space Force, Galactic Federation, SpaceX 2s. May 5, 2026. Hillary Clinton committed textbook treason and even paid $25,000 for the fabricated Steele dossier through the FBI. The Steele dossier was produced on behalf of the DNC and the Clinton campaign by former British intelligence officer, Christopher Steele, Edward Snowden on Telegram 2s. May 5, 2026. Hillary Clinton's campaign manager John Podesta was put in charge of a $375 billion slush fund disguised to help the environment, which was giving millions of dollars to NGOs that were founded only months earlier. These NGOs were allegedly laundering money and funding the far left's radical agendas and color revolution against conservatives in the United States itself. Edward Snowden on Telegram 2s. May 5, 2026. 3 U.S. states have introduced legislation designating COVID-19 mRNA injections as biological weapons of mass destruction. 1. Tennessee Bill SB 1949-2. Arizona Bill HB 2974-3. Minnesota Bill HF 3219, Trump D-Class revelation on Telegram 2s. May 5, 2026. A shocking Senate expose reveals that over $1 trillion in U.S. taxpayer money is stolen annually by the deep state. This enormous fraud funnels funds directly into terrorism, child trafficking, and luxury goods for criminals, forcing hard-working Americans to pay the price for this treason hidden in plain sight. Ezra Cohen on Telegram 2s. May 5, 2026. Be possible timing 2s. May 5, 2026. CBS activation underway, already live in Washington, D.C. and Vatican City. The screens lit up with undeniable proof, elite arrest streaming live, cabal secrets exposed for all to see. In the next 48 hours, the wave hits every nation. 48 hours, EBS will speak to the world, emergency broadcast system on Telegram, on 2s. May 5, 2026. Multiple sources confirmed the accelerated medbeds rollout as white hats crush the final cabal strongholds controlling medical tyranny and big pharma. President Trump personally directs the fusion of QFS technology with advanced healing beds designed to restore humanity's divine blueprint. Deep state panic intensifies as their vaccine depopulation schemes face total exposure through upcoming EBS transmissions. January 6. Patriots and veterans line up first for miraculous cures, proving QAnon's correct that the storm brings healing and justice against satanic pedophile elites. Freedom rings louder with every restored life. On Wednesday, May 6, 2026, medbeds go live in secure bases treating J6 prisoners and vets for cancer, limb regrowth and back damage. Instant relief and regeneration occur as gold-backed QFS frequencies power the sessions. Trump tours facilities witnessing miracles. On Thursday, May 7, 2026, DNA repair and bioweapon neutralization expand. Thousands feel decades younger via age reversal. Cabal hospitals empty as patients seek GCR-funded free centers. Tribunals process elite arrests. On Friday, May 8, 2026, Debt Jubilee launches with medbed demos. GCR funds build clinics. Zim redemptions expand access. Prepare supplies as QFS transition begins. Fiat slavery ends and prosperity returns. On Saturday, May 9, 2026, secure integration of medbeds and QFS during blackout prep. Starlink protects calms. Patriots' testimonies flood out exposing media lies. On Sunday, May 10, 2026, EBS reveals cabal medbed suppression and child trafficking rings. Martial law secures mass arrests of satanic elites. On Monday, May 11, 2026, GCR packages fund global medbed centers in 209 nations. On Tuesday, May 12, 2026, public healing sessions eradicate chronic disease and reverse aging for millions. Golden Age dawns. On Wednesday, May 13, 2026, Bangladesh Medbed Hospital opens, prioritizing Global South reparations. On Thursday, May 14, 2026, Trump discloses more miracles tied to QFS, exposing pandemic hoaxes. On Friday, May 15, 2026, Fiat Dollar funeral. Full medbed rollout heals masses. On Saturday, May 16, 2026, EBS starts midnight, leading to 10 to 12-day blackout and martial law for final PETA arrests. Stock essentials. By Wednesday, July 1, 2026, medbeds are standard, with massive free access and QFS unveiling during Trump's historic independence event on July 4. Cabal empire collapses. Justice prevails. Patriots heal and thrive. God wins. WWG1. C. EBS, blackout, martial law, lockdowns, this week or next week. Tuesday, May 5, 2026. The White House signaled that the time has come. Sometime in the next 2 days a blackout and lockdown will be global in all countries of the world. It will last 10 to 12 days when everyone will be asked to stay at home during a specific 5-hour window. You will see the global military alliance on the streets making arrests of corrupt pedophiles, drug dealers and child sex traffickers. The corruption is coming to an end. The old world will end with a broadcast. The new world will begin as you explain to those around you what has been going on. Emergency broadcast system on Telegram. On Saturday, May 16, 2026, EBS starts at midnight, leading to 10 to 12-day blackout and martial law for final PETA arrests. Stock essentials, medbed activation on Telegram. D2s. May 5, 2026, decoding the imminent EBS, military and training for implementation of the emergency broadcast system, Mr. Pool on Telegram. In an era of looming crises, the nation's guardians prepare rigorously for the emergency broadcast system implementation. Military forces train intensely behind closed doors for this mission of immense importance that will deliver truth to the people. The EBS acts as a vital lifeline for communication and coordination in emergencies. It empowers decisive responses to threats both natural and man-made. As 2026 unfolds with heightened tensions, these preparations indicate that the time for revelations draws near. This is no ordinary drill but a dress rehearsal for unveiling hidden truths from decades past. Extensive testing ensures precision to handle national and global implications safely. Citizens will remain secure in their homes to witness the historic broadcasts. Sources confirm the schedule has solidified, with exact timing known only to a few for security. The EBS will transmit an 8-hour program replayed 3 times daily across 10 days of communication darkness. 7 trumpet alerts will notify phones to tune in. Phones will limit to 911 calls in the encrypted Signal app. Internet and ATM cease operation during this window. Afterward, connection shifts to a new quantum internet. The Starlink system arrives by month end. Patriots must stock 3 weeks of food, water, and supplies like generators and toilet paper. Teams finalize EBS security to prevent interference and panic during the truth release. Following the blackout and continuous broadcasts, old systems collapse. Life support for evil structures ends as Earth moves to quantum consciousness of peace and prosperity. Governments, finance, education, and commerce transform. The new gold-backed USN currency ends enslavement. Linked to GCR and GCR, white hats battle the deep state cabal of elites controlling world banks and media. Families such as Rothschild and Rockefellers, with secret societies, stand accused of manipulating events including the Titanic, Kennedy assassination, September 11, and election interference against Trump. Trump and military allies press forward to dismantle this network. The EBS marks the climax in this war for freedom. Alert loved ones despite skepticism to ease the shock of awakening. The truth liberates humanity. Remain prepared and vigilant in the days ahead as these monumental changes approach. E-Global Currency Reset, Tuesday, May 5, 2026. EBS activation underway, already live in Washington, D.C. and Vatican City. The screens lit up with undeniable proof, elite arrests streaming live, cabal secrets exposed for all to see. In the next 48 hours, The wave hits every nation. 48 hours, EBS will speak to the world. 2s. May 5, 2026. The White House signaled that the time has come. Sometime in the next 2 days a blackout and lockdown will be global in all countries of the world. It will last 10 to 12 days when everyone will be asked to stay at home during a specific 5-hour window. You will see the global military alliance on the streets making arrests of corrupt pedophiles, drug dealers and child sex traffickers. The corruption is coming to an end. The old world will end with a broadcast. The new world will begin as you explain to those around you what has been going on. Emergency broadcast system on Telegram on Saturday, May 16, 2026. EBS starts midnight, leading to 10 to 12 day blackout and martial law for final pedo arrests. Stock essentials. 2s. May 5, 2026. Bruce, the big call. On Monday 4th of May we started moving into the gold standard, which would be completed by Thursday 7th of May. On Monday 4th of May the military took over full control of the global financial system. The highest sources in the banking world said Tier 4B, us, the Internet Group, should get notification by Monday 11 or 2s. May 12, 2026. The new PM of Iraq should be seated by Monday, May 11, 2026, which would put Tier 4B notification into Monday 11th of May, 2s. 12th of May, Wednesday 13th of May or Thursday May 14, 2026. XRP, crypto coins, go live on the global financial system on 2s. May 12, 2026. 50 countries have sealed their borders so other currencies won't come into their country. For people to get their GCR funds they have to go back to their own country. The EBS could start at any time from now until next Monday, May 11, 2026 and would be utilized for disclosure of what happened with JFK, RFK, MLK Jr., UFOs, unidentified aerial phenomena, unidentified submersible objects, 9/11, Epstein files and the Catholic Church. Disclosure would continue for 10 to 12 days using takeover of all broadcasting, TV, radio, Internet. New currency rates should be on the screens by Monday, May 11, 2026. F2s. May 5, 2026. The QFS is a system created by the Earth Confederation and our stellar brothers. Every person around the globe has a QFS account, Tier 4B ISO 20022 on Telegram. All people worldwide already have their QFS account set up. It contains all their personal data and their DNA. You do not have to buy any gold products, or have foreign currency or ZIM to exchange/redeem in order to have a QFS account. It has already been set up for you. Personal bank accounts are already mirrored into everyone's QFS accounts. The money from your birth certificate is already deposited in that account, as well as the repayment of the loans you have requested, student loans, mortgages, etc. Once those who have invested in gold products, or exchanged currency or redeemed bond bonuses, the general public will be called to a redemption center where they will be given a QFS card and have access to their money. At some point everyone will need to sign a non-disclosure agreement and will not be able to say anything about their QFS account setup. Judy note, we have been told that Wells Fargo, which is controlled by the Chinese elders, the ones who own the gold behind the global currency reset, will send out emails to currency and bondholders worldwide telling them how to set redemption and exchange appointments. It is advised to exchange/redeem your foreign currency at an official redemption center, RC, rather than a bank. You can only redeem ZIM at RC, the dinar contract rate can only be given at RC and banks will offer you lower exchange rates than what you can obtain at RC. You can only set up your new wallet, bank account, at RC. It was my understanding that most banks were under control of the cabal and would soon play a different role in a global financial system. 2s. May 5, 2026, bombshell announcement, Trump's dollar, signature, gold, and power for the American people. No more fiat, no more lies, game over for the globalists. 2s. May 5, 2026, Trump's $150 trillion bombshell, 161-year-old global trust fund exposed, the hidden engine behind the final reset. G2s. May 5, 2026. Not all banks are the same. Tier 4B ISO 20022 on Telegram. Since 1934 there have been two banking systems, 1, for-profit banks, FDIC, who put shareholders first and, 2, credit unions, NCUA, who put people first. Some banks aren't fighting crypto, they're building it. Credit unions and community banks are quietly preparing to issue compliant stablecoins, move on to ISO-aligned blockchain rails, Integrate DeFi inside banking apps, scale adoption without breaking the system. Meanwhile, exchanges are trying to become banks, not replace them. Replacing banks with exchanges isn't decentralization. Understanding the difference is how you see the future coming. ISO 20022 equals the language, Tier 4B equals the awareness window. The shift isn't loud. It's structural. Know what you hold. Know who's building. What we think we know as of Wednesday, May 5, 2026, Twos. May 5, 2026, breaking. What Edward Snowden just exposed is terrifying, and should concern us all. Twos. May 5, 2026, breaking medical news, cancer cells die in 42 days. This famous Austrian's juice cured over 45,000 people from cancer and other incurable diseases. Twos. May 5, 2026, breaking, DeSantis signs new congressional maps into law, GOP set to gain 4 seats as twos. 5 redistricting war explodes nationwide. Twos. May 5, 2026, RFK just said the conspiracy theorists were right all along, about everything. Unreal. Boom. Twos. May 5, 2026, bombshell. Update 2026, DECLAs, indictments, arrests, and executions, unraveling the deep state agenda, we have it all Q. Twos. May 5, 2026, alert. Alert. Alert, reality is not what you think. More than 200,000 actors, doubles, and stand-ins are allegedly being used to maintain a controlled version of reality. CGI, AI, hyper-realistic masks, and voice replication have reached a level where the line between real and fake is almost gone. This is no longer just Hollywood. This is everywhere. The illusion system from politics to entertainment, everything you see can be replicated. Faces can be copied. Voices can be cloned. Movements can be mimicked perfectly. Public figures may not always be who you think they are. The purpose, according to these claims, this system exists to control the narrative, maintain appearances, protect key individuals, avoid disruption. A perfectly managed stage where nothing is left to chance. The technology, AI and CGI are now so advanced that full appearances, speeches, and events can be recreated with precision. At this level, reality itself becomes editable. J2s. May 5, 2026 official. White Hat military takes control of global money system, NISA active, QFS payments live, redemption centers open, trillions released, 10 days of darkness on Telegram. White Hat military forces have seized full operational command of the global financial redemption. They direct the release of trillions in asset-backed funds across 209 nations, dismantling the old fiat debt system and installing the quantum financial system as the unbreakable backbone of sovereign economies. This process strips power from central banks that bled American citizens for generations. The QFS operates on quantum-secured ledgers that reject manipulation, usury, and hidden taxation. Every redemption transaction traces in real time, shielding patriots and everyday workers from the theft that funded endless wars and bureaucratic empires. President Trump's team coordinates this with military precision. Secure channels routed the final triggers, bypassing compromised institutions to deliver immediate liquidity to aligned nations. America's 250th anniversary on July 4, 2026, marks the public unveiling. Trump prepares a declaration that restores constitutional money and ends the private Federal Reserve stranglehold. This date delivers the decisive blow against globalist control and returns economic sovereignty to the people who built this republic. NISA activates the framework that cancels illegitimate debt, abolishes the income tax on wages, and returns seized wealth to American families. GCR extends the same protections worldwide. White Hats have released initial tranches with funds flowing into redemption accounts and sovereign treasuries right now. The old system collapses under its own weight while the new one stands operational and defended by military assets. Trump's preparations tie directly into this reset through public events celebrating restored freedom alongside tangible prosperity. The deep state can no longer suppress this transition via controlled media and financial gatekeepers. Military oversight ensures American citizens receive priority protection while the bureaucracy that enriched itself at their expense is starved. This fulfills the America First mandate.